respect the other, and that is a very essential philosophy. Awareness of all cultures, own culture, other culture, and mutual appreciation. Before going further, I'll just talk a little bit about our work. Many of you know us, but still, banglanatak.com, we are a social enterprise. See here, I'm wearing a completely different hat. Dr. Venugopal was explaining about his museology background. I'm an electrical engineer from Jadavpur University, and then I did masters in sustainable development. 12 years of my life I spent in IT sector, and last 17 years, since 2000 when I founded this organization, I've been working in the domain of culture and development. Because we started to work for development of poor communities, and we found that somehow, perhaps because they were kind of disconnected from the conventional developmental paradigm, they retain this intangible cultural heritage in terms of knowledge and skills, and we worked with them to revive and revitalize their heritage as a means of social inclusion and as a means of economic empowerment, and we call this model Art for Life. So as this picture shows, that we worked on revitalization of the skills, which created shared resource in the community for building cultural enterprise, 2005. And as these, when we started, average bounce age was above 50. And there were only 8 patuas in Pingla who painted. But now, if you go to Pingla, you'll find there are like 200. And if you look at bowls, the way the bowl music is popular and young people listening, so people are feeling proud of their culture. So there comes the identity, recognition, pride, which leads to social inclusion. And there is now aspiration to safeguard. So perhaps in Purulia, as you might be knowing, there are many terracotta temples and people used to steal those bricks. But now they've become conscious not only about their ICH, but about the built heritage. They've become conscious of the lake, of the hill, of the flower, of all the heritage, because they have new aspirations and they understand that all these components are very vital. So we are now working with more than 20,000 people. This model started in West Bengal, we worked in Bihar, and it broadly works at 3 levels. We revive and revitalize the art form, we empower the artists, and we rebrand the villages as artist villages and cultural hubs. So given this background, I come back to intangible heritage. So this is the definition given in the convention. So it is the practices, representations, expression and knowledge, as well as the instruments, objects, artifacts. So the instrument, the dotara which the bowl singer is using, the process which the dokra craftsman is using, the very basic, the knowledge, the skills, everything is ICH. And that might be belonging to a community, a group, or an individual. Now, and this article also stipulates that it must be transmitted from generation to generation, and it might change, but that change cannot be from outside, but from within the community. And as I said, the very essence of respect for cultural diversity and human creativity and culture as a human right, that is the essence. Now, as part of this convention, one thing every country has promised is that they will have an inventory of ICH. Now, this is a workshop, so I'd like to raise some questions which we can talk about. One is in India. It's so unfortunate we still do not have any national inventory. It's not that we don't have the knowledge. It is there in pockets. So IGNC and SNA, they are the designated organizations. They have lists, but it is not complete. So how can we go about, and we have this knowledge in our museums, we have this knowledge in our academic researches. I remember in another presentation, one professor said that every year the master students are doing dissertations, and we have so many papers on ICH and cultural heritage, and then after 3 years, the university just throws them away. That's a norm, keep it for 3 years. So there's no way of accessing the knowledge and safeguarding that knowledge itself. So this is a big lacuna which we need to really think of, that how can we have this knowledge shared, streamlined, and not only that, in today's perspective, It's not only about identifying and documenting. We need to address migration. We need to address climate change, how each of these are affecting. When we started working in Sundarban, cultural mapping is a big part of our work. We could not find the Bhatiyali singers because with Aila, there was no livelihood. Only last year there was agriculture, after Aila happened. And all the Bhatiyali singers have become daily laborers in some town of a city of our country. So there were only in 2-3 villages we still found some people who knew the Bhatiyali songs. So these are the challenges we need to be very aware of. Now, as I said, community participation is critical because they are the stewards. Often, when we go to a place, we have been working at Punjab to develop the cultural heritage policy there. And what they said, not only in Punjab, I faced this question from many communities, that researchers come, they talk to us, they interview us, they publish documents, they produce audio visuals. But what about us? What do we get out of that? They are the stewards and somehow we forget about them. We need to keep on sharing our research and give them access to that research. This is very critical. So cultural mapping and inventorying, another reason they need to be involved is because that way, it not only builds a relationship between the researcher and the community, it also creates a sense of pride among the people. At Pingla, Patachitra village, this is one of the villages where we started working first. When we started, people were using poster colors. And then we realized that they had a tradition of making color from flowers and fruits and seeds. So we sat with them and with the 2-3 old persons. And there was only one person that time, the Kusham Chitrakar, who knew the songs. So we sat with them, we documented the songs, we documented these color traditions. And in this learning process, the young people, the women, they got involved. So it is very important. And of course, heritage awareness and education. Right now, today, I invite all of you to visit Pingla. It's only a 3-hour drive. It's in Nayabram. They have a 2-story resource center. They have regular classes where they're teaching the young people. They're traveling abroad. Average income is more than 40,000 per month. So, things have changed for them. And also, we need to ask them what we need to document. When we work with Bouts, they said, we don't have any collection of songs. So we sat with them, we noted down all the songs and created this Shahoj Giti. With the Chow dancers, when we started, it was more of, the lufa, the jumps. But they had the Mayur Chal, the Bak Chal and all those finer things which were getting lost. So we again documented those and shared that. So inventorying is just not researching and publishing, but also using it, giving it back to the community so that it contributes to the safeguarding and, as I said, I don't say conservation. So this is a photo of the community museum at Naya. So it talks about the heritage, it has all the scrolls there, and what the beautiful things which have happened today, any incident happens and they make their scrolls, they make their songs. So it has not become stagnated. So it has moved with the times, and that is what we call safeguarding of ICH. And the women who just made color at that point of time, today they are the ones who are painting, who are traveling. So it is a story of women empowerment too. So when we talk of empowering the artist, now why is this important? First, as I said, cultural rights, it's their stewardship, it's their intellectual property. You will find for Madhubani, a dangerous thing has happened. The painters at Delhi were sitting and doing Madhubani painting. Now that is criminal because it is the people of Madhubani who are the Madhubani painters, and just because you can do the same painting, you can't do a Madhubani painting and call that painting Madhubani. So these are the things, and this sensitization, this awareness building is very important. So other than skill transmission, the painters in Madhubani need to have the direct market access. And how do they evolve? What we have found that just as we come to conferences, we go to symposiums, we listen to others and learn, we need to create spaces for collaboration and cooperation where these people learn too. So folk instruments, it was almost dead, when we were working around 2004. And then through these very collaboration events, now, a flute player, a saranda player, a dotala player, they are performing in different bands and organizations, so new kind of opportunity, which is cultural industry, not 2003 no anymore, it's 2005, but it gives them opportunities. And they, for example, this photo here, it's a bhokra. Bhokra is like, the backstrap loom. And they just did mats and sold it in the local hut for peanuts. Now they have learned to color, and they have these patterns, and now they are doing, runners and mats. So they have been given the exposure to earn more from their knowledge and skills, which is very important. The third thing which worked very well is, sometimes things just die. For example, there is this mukha dance. It is in Dinajpur, and it's a kind of dance where they feel that the dancer, he has a woman, and the dance was almost dead. There were like 2-3 persons doing the dance and all that. But then as the mask tradition revived and as people started moving in with the village festival, that dance found a different context. So sometimes it is important to give as a safeguarding strategy a new context for showcasing the intangible heritage. The folk art centers, we have now around 10 of them across West Bengal, and each has become a seat for community identity and community pride. And people go there, they learn about the art, they do design, and fashion students go and develop. So that's how, these models have worked. Now sometimes there's no object. For example, at Gorbhanga. In Gorbhanga, there is a living museum of bowls. And often we think that these people, they are not formally educated, they do not know English, they're not literate, so how far can they go? I think that is where there's a need for big partnership between organizations like us who are working with the community and the academic institutions. I was listening to the presentations before, and some of the challenges in conserving paintings. We are working in Majramura, which is another village of tribal Patachitra, where they've stopped painting and we're just reviving. And I was there only last week, and some of the paintings by their grandfathers are so lovely, and they're almost crumpling to dust. So, if we can have a partnership where we can teach these people how to save these beautiful objects they have. Now at Gorbhanga, what they have today, they are running internet radio from the village. And we have trained them in documenting the songs, and there are more than 1,000 songs recorded. So they are running an internet radio from a remote village in Bangladesh and West Bengal border. So that is the kind of potential of museums today. So we really need to think of community and involve them in all aspects. I'll also give this example. I was talking of Mukha dance, that is the Mukha dance, and this is the community museum at Kushmundi in Dinajpur. You see this other puppetry photo there. So that is called Chadar Badar, and there's now only 2 persons apparently who do it anymore. But at least with this museum, with visitors going, this guy, he gets invited to perform, and this dance has got revived. And then there have been woodcraft workers from other parts of the world who have come together and sat with them and given them some better tools to work with. So you see, a museum can play many roles other than the designated roles, and that's where this Diamond Jubilee celebration is very important, because as we reflect, we also need to look forward. And so I thought that some of these examples can help us to find new pathways where we can work. So I'm showing some more photos where students come from all over the world to these places nowadays, and I invite you students also to go and to research with these artists, work with artists, and work with each other. Challenges, of course, there's a challenge of commodification, there's a challenge of over-commercialization, but the one important aspect is, we need to keep the community engaged and involved, and we need to have a lot of trust building and exchange, and that way, if they are in stewardship, those risks are avoided. So with that, I'll conclude today with one more slide. That is about culture and development. Today we have 2030 set as a target for Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, and the world is defined 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And it is very interesting how culture is integrated in that. And it's not that it happened just like that. We have been working as a fraternity of culture, UNESCO and several organizations since 2011 to put culture, because first, as you know, in 2000 there was Millennium Development Goals. And in 2012, when it was reviewed, it was found that goals had been set for things like education, health, environment, without considering culture, and that's why MDGs essentially failed. So in 2011, even took the resolution that culture must be part of SDG goals. I would invite you, if you're not aware, to read these goals and see it is talking of conservation of natural heritage, it is talking of conservation of cultural diversity. There's a goal number 11 which is talking of heritage of places and people. So it is there, the framework is there. So that way today's framework of conservation and safeguarding is very inclusive, very multidimensional, and as academics, as practitioners, we all need to work together to realize these goals and achieve 2030. And Bangla Natak experience in the field, as I had shared with you already, shows it's possible. So with that, thank you.